this is Becky. Welcome back to my channel. Normally I start off with a little bit of information about angels, but as I was getting set up here at the nature preserve, I realized that I forgot that book in the car. See, this is what I'm saying. I need assistant. I need a team. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with interesting facts. So last night when I was like meditating on what I was going to talk about in this video, I noticed that my left pinky kept itching really bad, and then my right ring finger kept itching incredibly bad. So I was like, all right, palmistry is another interest that I have a book on that I've been trying to read. So I looked it up. It says, spiritually, an itchy left pinky finger symbolizes intuition, imminent changes in relationships, or unresolved communication issues. Because the pinky is associated with your gut feelings and the passive left side of your body, the itch suggests that an internal truth or a hidden emotion is trying to get your attention. So I really started to think about that, and I was like, all right, what's going on? Because your body's always sending you signals if you're paying attention to it. Most of the time people just scratch an itch and be like, no big deal. But me, I'm like, all right, what does that mean? And so when it talks about gut feelings, the last video I did was talking about, trusting my intuition and my third eye and my crown chakra. And so, I'm realizing that I've been in denial of some of my own feelings. And when I looked back at the video and I saw about my ancestor message about second chances and marriage and proposal, I'm like, wow, you know what? I'm starting to realize that I'm a commitment phobe. As much as I'm helping couples be able to connect healthier ways and stronger ways, my marriage had been so bad that I have been blocking my own divine counterpart energetically. So I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. And when it says second chances, I've had several people that I'm like, nope, never mind, nope, forget it, not even gonna do it. Scan, no, next. So I'm always willing to give second chances because I could have not been in the right mind space or presented myself very well with a first impression, especially if I have a lot of ish that I'm dealing with, that they don't get the best version of me initially. And so I always try to give second chances. There's a phrase that I find to be a good way of summing it up. I say, the first time someone screws me over, shame on you. The second time you screw me over, shame on me, and there won't be a third time. So for those that are watching, if I've totally put you off of the radar going no, without really giving you a chance, then I apologize for that. Hopefully you didn't take it personal, which most likely you probably did, and I apologize. But I am always open for second chances, so you never know. So the other one I have here is spiritually, an itchy right ring finger is tied to relationships, creativity, and new beginnings. So went a little deeper into that. It says, in the ancient beliefs, this finger represents your emotional connections and partnerships. An old superstition was that an itchy ring finger predicts a new romantic interest, a proposal, or an upcoming marriage. And I do know that I'm supposed to be preparing for marriage. Like I said, I think I've just been like runaway bride from the divine's options. One comes in, I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I still got things to do. Nope, I'm not ready. I got work. Nope, I gotta take care of my health. Nope, I gotta see my grandkids. Nope, gotta go see my kids, my mom, my dad. Coming up with every excuse under the sun, and I'm not doing that anymore. So I am open to divine counterpart union. Actually, I really need it at this point too. I mean, let's be honest. we have a combined mission that is going to take me and what I'm trying to do in the world, and take what he's doing in the world, blend it together, and then amplify what good we can produce. So yeah, I'm ready for this. And I'm not just saying that. I've been doing the nervous system work. I am actually ready for this. So the ring finger also governs creativity and artistic expression. This itch can be a nudge to pursue a new creative project or passion. And I just had a friend get reconnected with me on a project that he's starting, and it seems like that this message is confirming that I should be helping him with this project that he's working on. So I'm excited when I get those synchronicities and those confirmations from the universe. And who would have thought it was just because I had a itchy ring finger. See, I even make up my own words. Oh my goodness, my brain. Leads me to look it up, to go, okay, that was a confirmation that I should help him with this project. So in palmistry, the right hand governs action and receiving. Remember, I've been saying, how do I receive? Well, I just got to be more patient. I'm so tired of being patient. Some cultures interpret itching in this area as a sign of unexpected money coming your way. And again, I believe in magic, I believe in miracles, I believe that there are good people that want to support me on this mission, but trying to connect with them has been my struggle, and I do think that my divine counterpart's going to help with that. That's a key thing. I think he's got way better communication skills when it comes to people skills than I do. I mean, I can talk with people, but the sales part is new for me. I'm used to having a guy in a suit, right? Like, I've been in a classroom and there was always administrators that dealt with the paperwork and the funding and, you know, the legal stuff, and I just had to teach. I didn't have to do all the administrative part. When you start your own business, you have to learn to do the administrative part, and I'm like, but I don't like it. I don't want it. It's really hard. So I appreciate you if you're gonna come in and help me with that. So let's take a message from the Ascended Masters and the Keepers of the Light. Now let's see who comes out today and has a message for us, because really that's what it is trying to shine the light within. I know I talk with a lot of different jargon for a lot of different people. I'll say star seeds, I'll say Lord, I'll say God, I'll say ancestors, I'll say universe, I'll say energy, because I'm trying to reach a very diverse audience that it's gonna hit home for different people in different ways. So I try to just remember it's an embodiment of goodness. That's what the light is the goodness. And we all have dark and light in us, but we have to choose to be the light in spite of whatever painful circumstances we've been through, whatever darkness is around us. It's a conscious choice to be kind and loving and represent what we believe that the divine would want for us in humanity. Oh, this is a good one. All right, this one is a message from Mother Mary, love and peace. So this is from Mary Magdalene. It says, let go of the need to be right. But I like being right. It says, choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. So obviously Jesus and Mary are both around me always, and she wanted to present herself because I teach about the Gnostic version of Jesus and Mary and how they were twin flames and they had soul contracts and that they both had mother and father wounds. So if you want to know more about my thoughts on that, and their vision of prayer is different than what we do today. You know, today a lot of people are begging in their prayers, and that's not what they taught. They taught commanding. God is within you. That means you can command things to be, just the same way that they were able to do that. All right, next let's talk about work your light. Oh, and what's funny is I just got the download song of Let's Give Them Something to Talk About, a little mystery to figure out. So I think that was my divine counterpart chiming in saying he's ready too. And, you know, let the world talk, because I'm pretty sure they were already gossiping and rumoring about us when we first met. You know, it is what it is. So let's get a message. This one says, mirror, who or what is triggering you? And you know what? I'm going to read a little deeper into this one, because I know who or what is triggering me. I know. Can't do anything about it because they won't show their face so we can talk. Because, gosh, so many people are afraid to have conversations, which is why I created the 7 steps into getting on the same page, because adults today are still acting like toddlers. And I'm like, oh my goodness, not everything that you think is true. So you have to ask questions, you have to talk to one another, you have to actually have face-to-face conversations, not avoidance. Alright, so card, mirror. Let's see what message we have for the mirror. These are not numbered, so give me just a quick second when I find it. Hi, good morning. Yes, hello. Alright, the mirror is on page 44. It says, the filter of your own experience is how we experience life 90% of the time. Through our own projections. See, and even me, I have my own projections that I put out there, and I'll be like, why aren't you talking to me? And they probably have legitimate reasons why they're not. But I'm like, we can speed this up if we have a conversation. Okay, so through our own projections, when someone reminds us of an unhealed experience, we get triggered. Often it's an unconscious thing. People and situations can trigger our mirrors to reflect back to us what we believe to be true about life, the universe, and ourselves. Mirrors pointing to our shadow and our light. Mirrors reveal the parts of us that are yet to be accepted, witnessed, or loved. And that's true because, like, I realized that came from a wound where my parents wouldn't acknowledge me, and so it just carried through into adulthood. And now I want to be like, no, you're gonna listen. We're gonna talk. You're gonna hear me out. And sometimes I just need to let it be. And when they're ready, they'll come to the table. But I gotta create an environment that they want to sit down and have a conversation, because my attitude sometimes prevents that conversation from actually happening. So I'm doing my shadow work. Alright, this card is guiding you to look closely at what experiences or people are currently triggering in you and what they could be mirroring back to you. When have you felt like this before? Could they be opportunities to heal something in you, or are they shining a light on something that longs to be witnessed in you? This goes for the good and the bad. The good, those who we admire and put on a pedestal. If we do not realize that we are attracted to them because we are like them, we need to cut them down in order to rise to their level. The bad, those we despise, are envious of and put down. Let me try that again. Those we despise are envious of and put down. If we do not realize that they trigger something in us, then it is still yet to be healed, and we will remain hurt and wounded ourselves. So here's the questions for you maybe to journal. It says, who or what is triggering you? What is it in you that they are triggering? And what part of you longs to be witnessed? And clearly for me, I built an entire business about communication and behavior. But that's where my wounds really are. It's like, we can all act like civilized adults and have conversations about things, ask questions and be inquisitive and be like, okay, well, why did you say that? Why did you do that? Just explain it to me, and then we can process through it and we can continue moving forward. But not everybody can do that, and so that's why I'm grateful for those people that have had faith and trust in me and my abilities to be able to help them work through those issues. And I've had couples that have been able to strengthen their bond and really come back together as one when they were divided before, because usually they start to fight each other, and really in a marriage it's supposed to be you and your battle buddy. It's the person you picked to battle life with against the problem. And so sometimes I'm able to pivot instead of them firing their guns at each other to being able to shoot down the target of what the actual problem is. And other times I've had where couples are just like, yeah, we aren't the same people we were when we got into this, and there is no resolving this, and we need to go our separate ways. And sometimes I've even had them go their separate ways, and then I run into them in the future, and guess what? They got back together because they had to do healing apart to realize, that it really was meant to be, but they were both too wounded at the time and needed separation before they can come back together. So I never give up hope that the right people are going to end up with the right partners, especially for the children's sake. We have a lot of hurting kids whose parents are so wounded within themselves that they've kind of checked out on parenting the child correctly, and then that just kind of perpetuates generational cycles of wounds and wounds and wounds that just keep carrying on. And I want to be able not just to put band-aids on these wounds and send them back out into the battle of life, but I actually want to help them dig out the infection and cauterize the bleeding arteries and really put the salve on it and clean it up and really let it heal before you have to go back into life. I mean, we have to do it. It's like a MASH unit. I don't know if you ever remember that show MASH, where you have the hospital that would be in the middle of the war field, and then you patch them up and then the soldiers go back. That's kind of how I view what I do, but just on emotional and communication and relational issues. All right, let's get a message from the Spirits of Nature Oracle. Okay. This is a popular place for people that are walking, and there's also a girls running club that I've seen come through here, so it's a nice little spot. Alright, the message I get is island detachment. And this is a confirmation because I've been getting a lot of synchronicities about Hawaii for some reason. I don't know. It's a place that I've always wanted to go because I want to learn how to hula dance and belly dance and stuff like that. I'm like, how do they move their hips like that? I won't be like Shakira. The hips don't lie. So this says island attachment, number 19. Number 19 says islands are land masses that are entirely surrounded by water, with some distance between them and their larger relatives, the continents. There are two types of islands, oceanic and continental. Oceanic islands are ones that have formed from volcanoes rising from the ocean bed, while continental islands are a part of continental shelf that has buckled and remains above water. Visiting an island can evoke feelings of isolation, remoteness, and entrapment due to their being surrounded by water and their detachment from the larger continents. They can also elicit a sense of wonder and awe at their beauty and mystery. The usual sense of time and space may become less meaningful as you become removed from the usual trappings of civilization. This can evoke either fear or a renewed sense of freedom. And if you're in the middle of the ocean, lost and bewildered, finding an island can be your salvation. Here's your message. You're feeling distant and removed from others. It's a familiar sense of loneliness and alienation. Perhaps childhood experiences have taught you to remain aloof as a form of protection. By keeping your distance from others, you find some comfort in that there are few demands for you to meet and you have freedom to do whatever you want. That's true. I know in the last video I was like, yeah, I try to stay away from crowds. I'm really not a people person. It's not really true. It's just I like to be around the people in smaller increments and then be able to retreat, and then be around people and then be able to retreat. Not everybody understands that. Some people just want to be in the middle of all the excitement and the people and all the time. Some people don't want to have anything to do with people and they just want to be completely alone. And I like to go between the two worlds. I like to have my sanctuary of solitude, which is my home space. And then I like to be able to go and find the chaos and the people and interact with them. But then I want to be able to pull back away and go back to my sanctuary of solitude too. So it's finding the right balance for you, because everybody is different. Now, however, remaining withdrawn from your community has begun to feel like being stranded on a desert island. This self-isolation and sense of disconnection have gone on for a while. Some family and friends have progressively made less of an effort to contact you or stopped contacting you altogether. You've convinced yourself that you don't really need your relationships with people or even spirit. I know that's happened with my family. I sometimes don't know how to take people's boundaries because, like, my children are adults now, and so trying to navigate it as an adult, it's a different season. I'm used to being mom, an active mom who was always orchestrating things and planning things and going places with them and doing things with them. And now that they're all adults, and I had my oldest daughter with my grandkids, it was like, I need to have healthy boundaries with you, Mom. And I was like, okay, well, then you let me know when I get to be part of your world, because I feel like I'm doing this awkward dance of like trying to reach out and then getting rejected. And, then I'm like, okay, well, then you let me know. And it just feels like, this weird kind of vibe. And I'm just like, okay, well, then I just stopped. I was just like, well, I don't know, I'll send you some funny memes. I don't know what else to do. This is a new role for me, and I don't know it, and I need you to communicate what you need, what you want. And if you don't communicate what you need, you want, then I don't know what you need and you want. So this message is definitely for me. Aside from any benefits of going it alone, there's a deep hunger for connection. And that's true. I want to be active in people's lives. I want to know where I fit in. And again, if there's something that I'm doing that's preventing that from happening, then I need to know that. But if people aren't willing to communicate in order for us to be on the same page, then I'm like this awkward dance partner who keeps stepping on toes, who finally just goes and sits down because I'm like, this isn't fun. I don't enjoy this. You try to satisfy that craving by filling the time with compulsive activities now to reach out to others. Compulsive activities and obsessive and addictive preoccupations. It's time now to reach out to others, to be honest with yourself about your need for contact with family and friends. Renew those attachments despite any reservations. Recognize that your addictions and worldly occupations are not filling the void that can only be satiated by renewing and reactivating your connection to others and with spirit. So hopefully I can figure out how to navigate this new season of life and the grandma stage, where I'm waiting to be invited because I was told healthy boundaries, and I'm like, but you're not inviting me, like you're not sending me pictures, you're not communicating. And then when I try to, then it's like, no, you're invading my space. Oh, okay, what do I do? How do I move forward? Please tell me, Lord. All right, let's do a message for the Human Spirit Oracle. Because again, I'm trying to stay more connected with my inner guidance, and sometimes my inner guidance is just like, well, just focus on your health. You know, when people are ready to talk to you, they'll talk to you, and unfortunately some people may never be ready to talk to me, so I can't hold my breath going, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll hear from somebody, you know, and maybe they're proving that they're not. And so to know how much to invest in people can be, you know, challenging at times, because I feel sometimes like I'm just pouring and pouring and pouring, and then they're like, we don't even want that. And I'll be like, okay, never mind. And then they'll be like, well, where did you go? Why aren't you part of our life? I'm like, but you told me you didn't want it. Okay. No, we got ducks in a row again. I get it. Ducks in a row. Another synchronicity. But let's see if I can get a different message. I want a different message. Okay. I'm trying to get my ducks in a row. Right now, it's just me trying to figure out my health and my money. That's my ducks right now. Everybody else has told me to back off. So I'm like, okay. That's all I can work with then. So let's see. Oh my good, ducks in a row. You can't make this up. Hi. Ducks in a row. Again. I get the message. Get my ducks in a row. Ah! Can I please get a different one? Okay, all aboard. Let's see what all aboard has to tell us. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Alright, Spirit, I'll get my dang ducks in a row. I knew who my ducks were. Okay. Oh, goodness. Alright, I get it. Got all aboard. Number 7. It says, next stop. With so many causes, protests, and ideologies nowadays, it is so easy to hop aboard the newest trends and fund me campaigns. It is important to understand that not every cause is what's best for us all. Knowledge is power, and if you are feeling like hopping aboard a cause, have your facts, which in this day and age might be harder to find than one would think. It is great to be passionate for the world and to have passion for change, but be sure it is the type of change that benefits humanity. By humanity, I mean the world and the earth as a whole, not just you, your family, or your neighborhood. We aren't saying don't mow your neighbor's lawn or don't volunteer at the co-op, but when a cause limits the rights of others or dictates the choices of people, then let's get knowledgeable about all the facts. Let's do our research from reputable sources, because Uncle Jesse is a great person, but how many books has he read in the last year? With social media blaring at you with what you should believe and support, it is hard to sometimes find the right track to the best train out of the station. And that message really hits for me because sometimes I feel like I am running on a hamster wheel, and I'm just like, I need forward momentum, I need to move forward, but then I'm like, but I don't, like, I really want to be part of my grandkids' lives, but how am I supposed to do that, you know, and how do we navigate this, how do we communicate this, how do we, and, you know, it gets to be a little challenging, and so then I have to focus on myself and let them focus on themselves, and just pray that it all works out. But you got to take action. So how much am I enabling? How much am I pushing away? How much, you know, life is a push-pull. All right, so let's do a message from the Starseed Oracle. And I think these conflicts, these inner conflicts, and these relationship conflicts, and these communication conflicts, and behavior issues, that I deal with within my own life as well as helping others is, I think they're common. I don't think that I'm, like unique in this, especially when you're dealing with people who are neurodivergent. It becomes very easy to misinterpret, what somebody means, and then they don't want to clarify, or they just give up and they're like, I'm tired of talking to you, I'm not doing it anymore. And then I'll be like, okay, well, what did I do wrong? And the same thing for them. There were times where my kids feel better talking with me through text messages instead of face-to-face conversations. And I'd be like, okay, as long as you're conveying the message, I don't care if it's in written form, spoken form, I just, to be completely no communication, no interaction, no involvement, like, that to me is not okay. And then that makes me want to try harder, and then Spirit's like, no, both people have to be trying, so you can't just keep pouring and pouring and pouring. Like, they have to pour too. Communication is a two-way street. You can't just run after people and be like, hey, I'm trying to be part of your life, if they don't want you to be part of their life. But sometimes I think they do want to be part of my life, and so then I have to do the heavy lifting of initiating that, and that can be exhausting too. So that's why I created the 7 Steps to Getting on the Same Page program, the 90-day Complete Family Resolution Mentorship program, as well as my Starseed Launch program, to be able to help other families that I know are going through some of the same types of struggles. That it's you want to have a close family unit, so how do you make that happen where everybody's needs are getting met? And especially when everybody has such different needs, so unconditional love is always there, but life experience together is what makes it enjoyable, And if you don't have the life experience together, you don't know what each other's doing, what's going on, then you're not cohesive, you're not a family unit, you're not bonded, and that's what really makes life worth living. There's no point in me becoming successful at my business if I don't have my loved ones along with me. But if my loved ones don't want me on an interacting basis very often, so then I'm left with myself, and I'm like, okay, well, then I'm just going to work on my creative projects and do things that I want to do. And then people will be like, well, but you don't reach out to us. And I'm like, but when I tried to reach out, you didn't want me to reach out, and you don't reach out to me. So I don't know. I would love to hear from you. If you kind of resonate with what I'm talking about, you can reach out at homans.consulting@gmail.com, so we can have a conversation about your situation and how I can help. Maybe you can give me some insight on what I can be doing differently as well. I know the love is there, but how it's displayed isn't always. And that goes both ways. I know that their love languages are different than mine, so. And it's all about loving them and loving the other person in their love language. So. We have forge, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader that you wish you had. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show my loved ones that you're never too old to live a new dream and keep pursuing things, and even when it's hard, keep going, never give up. But sometimes we do kind of have to take a step back and reassess, reevaluate, and decide if am I even going in the right direction, because I feel like I'm leading, but who am I leading? Where am I leading them? Which is why I said I'm really looking forward to hopefully interacting with like-minded people that are kind of in the same boat, maybe even have more experience in leadership and mentoring people and guiding people and how to get people united and moving forward in healthier directions. So that way I don't feel like I'm an island trying to do it all by myself. Because I know I'm not. Just interacting with other people is like playing double dutch, which is hopscotch, where you have to jump between two ropes that are going in opposite directions, and you're supposed to jump into the middle without touching the ropes. And I was never good at double dutch. My booty trying to jump in the middle of that, and it all collapses. So navigating life can be very difficult. And I think that's why people just have gotten to a point where they just stop interacting with other humans, because it is more complicated than just walking up to somebody and saying hi. Like, there's more to it than that to maintain it. You know, I can make random strangers friends all the time, right? But to maintain that longevity, that over time, and to be able to build upon that and know the right amount of space versus the right amount of closeness, and the right amount of communication versus the right amount of silence, and everybody's different. All right, this message says, stagnant waters, feeling stuck, a call for shifts, flow, and change. Which is why I said I know my spirits tell me I need to be moving. I need to move. Which is why I've chose the van life for the last year and a half now. And I know people are like, why would you choose that? Well, because I need to be moving around. I need to be meeting new people. I need to be experiencing new things, learning how other people communicate, learning how other people navigate the world, learning to be even more diverse and eclectic in what I'm trying to teach and what I'm trying to build for humanity, you know. So let's go ahead and end with a message from Archangel Raphael. Let's see what we got. It says, Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me breathe easier in all ways. And I love it. He's got a little cat and a little dog there. The animal spirits are always there to help us and guide us and protect us. And hopefully you can breathe a little easier today than you did yesterday. And if not, go ahead and reach out and we can talk about what's stressing you out. So maybe we can help you breathe a little bit easier tomorrow. I hope you have a blessed day.